Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Today we are from group 3. We'll present PTT 3 task 2, which is voyage estimations. Before we go through to the topic, this is my list group member: Amira Farhanis, Nur Fizana, Siti Nur Atika, Fatima Az-Zahra, Aiman Yusuf, Saravanan, Alif Ikram, and I, Alia Natasha. Now let's get into the topic. I will explain about voyage estimation. The calculation of the profit or loss that a ship will make from a voyage charter. The estimate is used to compare the revenue with the total cost of the same voyage for the different vessels and to find which vessel is the most profitable. The voyage estimate result can be calculated by subtracting expenses from income and dividing the result by the number of days taken for the voyage. Regarding the question given, my group members need to answer all the questions based on the data provided on the next slide and show the result of the calculation.
For question 1, my friend Sima and I, Ika, will explain and shows the result of calculation about quantity of cargo can be loaded based on data provided in the previous part. We have to calculate more option and less option for quantity cargo can be loaded in the vessel. The formula for this calculation is we have to times or multiple 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer with 10%, then we get the answer. For more option, we have to plus, and less option, we have to minus with the total of 50,000 metric tons of fertilizer. Answer for both option plus minus is 55,000 metric tons of fertilizer, and for less option 45,000 metric tons of fertilizer. The quantity of cargo can be loaded. The fertilizer is between 45,000 metric tons to 55,000 metric tons of fertilizer. Picture beside me shows the size of general bulk carrier. Next is a basic knowledge about cargo ships and bulk carrier or dry cargo. Cargo ship known as freighter. These enormous merchant ships carry goods and other types of goods depends on its types of ships. Some facts about bulk carrier or dry cargo. Vessel size and dimension can generally help to classify types of bulk carrier. The load density of cargo tanks defines on how much cargo we can load in it, and it depends on how strong the tank top is.
So next we move to the types of bulk carrier, which is dry cargo, and we have 6 types of bulk carrier. And the first one is handy-size bulk, and the second is handy-make bulk. For handy-size bulk, the smallest size group is known as handy-size. Handy-size ships are suitable for carrying 15,000 to 40,000 tons, and handy-size ship can both load or unload in most ports worldwide. Demand for this type of bulk carrier is often higher. And for the handy-make bulk is the largest size group. Handy-make ships are used for carrying 40,000 to 50,000 tons. Next is Supramax bulk and Panamax bulk. Supramax bulk is a larger ship that ranges in size from 50,000 to 61,000 deadweight tons, and these Supramax are capable to carrying cargo up to 60,000 tons. And Supramax is available in the long distance vessel. And Panamax bulk is the largest class of carrier for dry bulk. This vessel have maximum length to 294.13 meter, which is 965 feet. The beam or height must be 32.31 meter or 106 feet, and the draft must not exceed 12.04 meter, which is 41.2 feet. And this vessel fits between 60,000 and 80,000 deadweight ton of dry bulk cargo. Then we have capesize bulk, and the last one is very large ore carrier, which is VLOC. Capesize bulk have length 230 till 270 meter and the draft is 17 meter. bulk carrier of 80,000 to 199,000 ton deadweight, and this capesize is too large for the Panama Canal, and only few ports in the world can accommodate this vessel in the fully condition. And very large ore carrier VLOC is the great size and capacity known have a deadweight around 410,000 feet. This vessel is a giant ship that divided into 7 hulls, each capacity of around 58,000 metric tons of iron ore. Their dimensions are 360 meters in length and 65 meters in beam, and this vessel requires 24 meters of water depth in order to float.
For question 2, we have to know where would the bunkers be taken and what quantity would the vessel steam, and give a reason.
Diagram 1 shows the summary of the voyage planning, which illustrates the exact days taken by the vessel to sail to the loading and unloading port with the provided speed. It takes the vessel 1.25 days to sail from Rotterdam to Sika limit using ULSGO maximum 0.1% sulfur content. From the Sika limit to Cartagena takes 4.45 days using LSGO or LSFO maximum 0.5% sulfur content. The same sulfur content oil was used to continue the voyage to Recife, the unloading port. Bunker for the whole voyage can be loaded at Rotterdam, as it would be the most economical option with the cheapest fuel price for both LSGO and ULSGO compared to all other bunkering options. This will also avoid any additional time delay compared to bunkering at Gibraltar, as the bunker would be loaded with discharging at the current cargo at Rotterdam.
For the ballast at the sea, our vessel begins the journey from Rotterdam to Sika with a maximum distance of 420 nautical miles using ultra-low sulfur gas oil with a maximum sulfur content of 0.1% and a speed of 14 miles per hour. To calculate the day at the sea, the distance and the speed must first be divided, and the answer must be divided by 24 hours. Firstly, the 420 nautical miles must be divided by 40 knots, which equals 30. After that, 30 must be divided by 24 hours to obtain the day at the sea. The last answer after the dividing is 1.25 days voyage. The total amount of ultra-low sulfur gas oil used, 0.1% sulfur, is then calculated by multiplying 1.25 days of voyage by 23 metric tons per day. The answer is that 28.75 metric tons of ultra-low sulfur gas oil with a sulfur content of 0.1% are required. For the ballast at sea from Sika to Cartagena with a maximum distance of 1495 nautical miles using ultra-low sulfur gas oil with a maximum sulfur content of 0.1% and a speed of 40 miles per hour. To calculate the day at sea, firstly, the 1495 nautical miles must be divided by 40 knots, which equal 106.7857. After that, 106.7857 must be divided by 24 hours to obtain the days at sea. The last answer after the dividing is 4.45 days voyage. The total amount of ultra-low sulfur gas oil used, 0.1% sulfur, is then calculated by multiplying 4.45 days of voyage by 23 metric tons per day. The answer is that 102.3363 metric tons of low sulfur gas oil with sulfur content maximum of 0.5% are required. As the bunker will be loaded from Cartagena to Recife with a maximum distance of 4,251 nautical miles using ultra-low sulfur gas oil with a maximum sulfur content of 0.1% and a speed of 13 miles per hour. To calculate the day at the sea, firstly, the 4,251 nautical miles must be divided by 13 knots, which equal 327. After that, 327 must be divided by 24 hours to obtain the days at the sea. The last answer is after dividing is 13.325 days voyage. The total amount of low sulfur fuel oil or low sulfur gas oil used 0.5% sulfur is then calculated by multiplying 13.625 days of voyage by 23 metric tons per day. The answer is that 31.375 metric tons of low sulfur fuel oil or gas oil with a sulfur content maximum of 0.5% are required. Then the total amount of ultra low sulfur gas oil with maximum sulfur content 0.1% have to plus with the total amount of low sulfur fuel oil or gas oil with a maximum sulfur content 0.5%. The last answer after plus the 102.363 metric ton and 313.375 metric ton is 415.7113 metric ton of low sulfur fuel oil or gas oil with maximum sulfur content 0.5 required. For the total bunker at sea or the voyage days of 1.25 days plus 4.45 days plus 13.625 days must be added to get the last answer, which is 19.325 days. For the total bunker at the port, firstly the loading, which is 50,000, must be divided by 13,000 to get the total of 3.85 days. Then the discharge will be 50,000 divided by 8,000 to get a total of 6.25 days. Lastly, the total of 10.1 days, which includes the loading and discharge days at the port. 10.1 days need to be multiplied by 23 metric tons of low sulfur fuel oil or gas oil with a maximum sulfur content of 0.5%. The last answer after multiplying is 25.3 metric tons.
Next, total bunker cost. The total use of low sulfur gas oil or low sulfur fuel oil 0.500 sulfur plus total use of ultra low sulfur gas oil 0.100 sulfur plus port cost. So, total use of low sulfur gas oil or low sulfur fuel oil 0.5% sulfur 415.7113 plus 25.3 metric ton. So we get 441.0113. Then we multiply with $300. So we get $132,303.39. So the total use of ultra low sulfur gas oil for 0.100 sulfur is 28.75 metric ton multiplied to the $345. So we get $9,918.75. Next, for the port cost, we got $77,000 plus $62,000. So we get $139,000. For the total bunker cost, $132,303.39. Then we plus with $9,918.75 plus $139,000, and we got the total $281,222.14. So for the voyage cost, the total vessel daily running cost multiple with the time voyage, so $9,200 plus with the 29.425 days, so we got $270,710.
For question 3, calculate the daily net profit for the voyage. Before we calculate the daily net profit, we need to find income, commissions, gross income, revenue. First, formula for income is freight rate multiplied with the quantity of cargo, which is 22 multiplied with 50,000 equal to $1,100,000. For the commission, the formula is total income multiplied with the commission, which is 1,100,000 multiplied with 5% equal to $55,000. And for the gross income is total income minus with the total commission, which is 1,100,000 minus with 55,000 equal to $1,045,000. And the last one, revenue, which is gross income minus with the voyage cost, which is 1,045,000 minus with $270,710 equal to $774,290. Next, we calculate the daily net profit. The formula is revenue divided with the voyage duration, which is 774,290 divided with the 29.425 equal to $20,314.019.
In conclusion, voyage net profit plays an important role in determining in many aspects of a business. Firstly, every business comes in business with a primary motto in mind: to generate revenue and profit, thus more money. In order to fulfill the primary goal, a business must review whether it's reaching towards the goal of generating profit or not. There is no better way to do that other than net profit calculation. Secondly, if it comes to expanding the business to a certain extent or reducing some activities, again, net profit becomes one of the deciding factors. Net income helps management to make the decisions whether the business needs expansion or shrink. Moreover, if a business looks for the new investment, the net profits come in handy yet again. And thirdly, cost minimization or higher pricing. If the net profit of a business is significantly lower than the competitors, the business might think of making the product price a little higher or minimizing operating and non-operating expenses. Again, net income helps the management to reach an important decision. Next, the negative impact of declining the voyage net profit. Firstly, signs of inefficiency. Inefficiency can drag down your business revenue stream by taking more time to produce fewer goods or accomplish fewer tasks. A decline in net profits could be an indicator that your company is not operating at peak efficiency. Second impact is risk and opportunity management. Managing risk is a critical component of your business operating strategy. Declining net profit reduces the cash available to cope with problems that can occur through the normal course of business operation, including equipment failure and damage to your business physical location. Low net profit also limits your company's ability to seize opportunities that may come up, including a perceived product need in the market or a void created by a competitor leaving the market. Next impact is lower owner salary. As a smart owner, you should reserve any kind of payment or compensation from your company until it satisfies all its debts and other financial obligations for the given month or quarter. A declining net profits means you effectively have to take a pay cut to keep your business operating at normal capacity. This can have an adverse effect on your personal finances, including your ability to pay your personal debts and keep food on the table. Personal sacrifice will continue to mount as your company's net profit declines.